So cops are out of control again. Baton Rouge. So you saw in Ferguson last year, you saw how the cops are out of control, right? So not only did they run, the Justice Department revealed they ran a complete racist organization, top to bottom, extracting wealth from poor working black people to run their criminal racist organization. That's what the Justice Department found in Ferguson. Okay. And so that's just not in Ferguson. That's all over the country. Right? Right now, there are 20 police departments being investigated by the Justice Department for the exact same thing. 20. That's at a police department in half the states right now, almost half the states being investigated. So they should all be investigated, by the way. They should all be investigated, okay? I live in Los Angeles. It was under a consent decree for years because how racist our police department was in Los Angeles, right? Miami just got consent decree from the Justice Department, how they had to change their policing because of the racist policy. So this happens all over. This isn't just Ferguson. This isn't just Baton Rouge, but here it is again in Baton Rouge. And again, it surprises everybody. You're surprised that cops are brutal maniacs. That just blows my mind. Do you fucking know any cops? So, here we go. So here's some, I got some of this video from MSNBC last night. Rachel Maddow was playing. So here's the cops in Baton Rouge. And you can see they're using military, they got like military style. And then they just start beating people. So people are peacefully protesting. And then the cops just come and they just start beating them. Now here's a bunch of other cops just chasing after. Now watch this. Wow.
What?
What the fuck is going on in this country? And I watch these maniacs. This guy, he wants a piece of the action. This guy, he's going to get a little bit. I'm going to get one of those. Out of control maniacs. Out of control maniacs. Out of control. That's called escalating. That's not de-escalating. That's called escalate. That's called cops looking for a fight. Those cops they can't wait. Do you see those cops? They can't wait to engage. You know why? Because they're cowards, and there's 2,000 of them, and there's a couple hundred of the protesters. And what are they protesting? They're protesting police brutality. And how do they respond? With more police brutality. You want to see some more police brutality from them? So here's the iconic picture, right? So there's that woman. Look at these guys. These are cops in America.
Well, she looks very aggressive.
She looks very aggressive. So here's... And what did they do? They arrest peaceful protest. Now watch these cops.
Now this is a home.
Now this is a private home. This is a private home. There's about 100 people there. The homeowner wanted the people there. They said it was okay. Cops didn't like it. So watch what the cops do. Watch how the cops just start beating the shit out of everyone who's there. Watch this. Watch how the cops they're just beating women. Watch how they're not doing anything. Watch this on the street. They're throwing women around. He throws another, just throwing people. These are citizens. And they're not resisting. They're not beating anyone. They don't pose a threat to anybody. And there's look at all these cops, and they're all faceless, and they're all wearing their combat garb. Their combat garb, like they're fucking in combat instead of what they're really doing, which is beating peaceful protesters in Baton Rouge. That's what they're doing. Cowards. So let's listen to a little bit what Rachel Maddow said about it.
Hey, you cannot do that, property. Back off.
Watch this.
Private property.
And watch them just start going crazy over here. So here comes cops. They just start beating. Then they start grabbing people.
No.
They just start grabbing women.
No.
Just grabbing everyone, throwing them down. Just grabbing everyone.
Oh my God.
Look, they just grabbed every woman, just throwing everyone down.
Joining me now, civil rights.
So that's called a police riot. That's what that is. That's called a police riot. They get worked up. They got their testosterone going. Half of them are on steroids. Half of them think black people are prone to violence and crime anyway. All of them are bullies. All of them are brutal. And they can't wait. They're loving it. This is what they love. You think if they didn't like doing that, they wouldn't be doing it? You think if they didn't like doing it, they wouldn't be doing it? So again, out of control. Just completely out of control. Completely out of control, these guys.
also arrested.
Completely out of control. I want to show this one more time because it's kind of stunning. Let's watch it. And let's...
Private home where hundreds had gathered with the permission of the person who lives there. Some report police forced them onto the street and then arrested them for being on the street.
Police forced them onto the street and then arrested them after they brutalized them. You see them, they can't wait, throwing women around. They don't give a shit. Get off the porch, I'm here. They really look like they're threatened for their safety. They look like they really had to go crack some heads. And what is wrong with people? It's that one bad apple. There is hundreds of cops acting like fucking maniacs in concert. And that's how they do it all the time. And they're dressed like they're in Afghanistan. You know where they are? They're in Baton Rouge. In the middle of a community that they've been brutalizing. They just murdered a guy. And then they committed more crimes to cover up the murder of that guy.
You know, and it's weird because they keep telling me that hundreds have been arrested in these protests over police shootings, except none of them are policemen.
Oh, really? None of the cops get arrested. So those cops, again, cops can just brutalize you, do whatever they want, and they're doing it. You see this, right?
This is private property. You cannot do it.
Private property, people at someone's house. Look at all those cops. It's hard to see. It's just cops everywhere with their guns out. And now they just start beating the shit out of everyone over here. Watch how they rip these women down. These are women standing there. Brutal maniacs. So let's remember, that's what cops are. That's why you become a cop. You know, you don't become because you're into peace. I have to keep reminding people that. And of course, we need cops. But this is who they are. And we have to always remember that. And we don't. We think somehow they're Boy Scouts. They're not. You need brutal motherfuckers who want to go into dangerous situations. But you have to remember that they're brutal motherfuckers, and they're brutal in every situation. Especially when they're confronted with peaceful protesters protesting your violence, your brutality. How do you think they respond to that? You think I'm violent? I'll show you violence. And they are. And they are. And I can't believe that Chris Hayes can play that tape and not scream at the top of his lung. That's the thing I don't get is how news people can show clips like this and not scream at the top of their lungs for something to be done. Nothing. They just go, boy, that's certainly horrible. Okay, we got somebody on to talk about it. So I think if it's one thing I would like this show to be able to accomplish is for the people who watch this show to quit saying stuff like, there's a couple bad apples, and if the rest of it's not bad apples. It's a culture. And you have to remember that people who are police aren't randomly picked out of society. They join on purpose. They're attracted to that. So what does that mean? That means they have a mentality. And so we need to be cognizant of that when we're talking about them. They're brutal. They like it. And we need them, and that's why we need to keep in mind who they are. You know, you can't... Yeah, okay. So there you go. And guess what's going to change because of this? Not a fucking thing.